We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirian, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. We will share insight as it represents the understanding of that of what you would know as 2016, the year of illumination. Now, as this conduit has briefly shared with you in the introductory phase of this video, the idea of 2015 being that of a year of integration, intense times, rough tides. But again, understand that all of this particular rough tides, all of this particular forms of intensity was necessary in order to crack a shell. And that is basically what has happened collectively upon your planet, is that a shell has cracked. And through the idea of this very, very hard shell that has been around for a great deal of time on your planet, we are very pleased to say that this shell has not only cracked, but it has exploded wide open. And by basically stating this is giving you the understanding that everything that has been kept under this shell, sociologically, politically, monetary, educationally, historically, celestially, much of that has been unveiled. Much of that has been unleashed. And now basically, as much of this particular type of information is now coming to the surface, this is now the integration time, and this is exactly what you have been doing fundamentally throughout this entire year, is integrating many of these different forms of energies that have been expelled from these cracks of this very hard shell. And as you reach the end now of your 2015 year, the shell has now exploded. And much of this information is now coming to the surface about how your common ways of life, many of your systems, many of your philosophies, many of your educational factors, everything that represents the idealisms, the practicalities, the methods, the understandings that make your society what it is, that there has been much more unveiling of information that is now integrating itself together with you. As we move into the 2016 year, which we have termed the year of illumination, more of this information will continue to settle in. It will continue to infuse itself together within your matrix. It will continue to enlighten. It will continue to helping yourselves realize what has been shrouded in the corners of darkness for a great deal of time. And we call this the year of illumination because you are all taking out your lights and you are shining that light upon these corners. And as you shine your light upon these corners, you will now discover that there are new transformations taking place within the very core of much of your governments, that are taking place within much of your own sectors, educationally, financially, etc. That around this time of 2016, you will notice a great change, a great peak that represents your monetary framework. The idea of, in that sense, continual amalgamation of several or even perhaps many different countries in regards to creating what you would know as a unified currency. This will start to happen and in that sense peak itself further throughout the year of 2016. You will also notice that there will be fundamental changes in the way governments behave around this time of the year of 2016. The idea in that sense of working together, becoming more of a unified culture. The idea in that sense of, shall we say, people-selected leaders that will become more apparent in many countries across the world. You will also, in that sense, notice that many different banks will start to, in that sense, cave in. And there will be much more uprising as it represents the idea of local banks and being able to, in that sense, allow the distortions of much of the banking situations that have been taking place for a great deal of time upon your planet to finally reach a state of climax where the people will now allow themselves, again, beginning these first steps in creating the orientation of local banking that will, in that sense, enrich the people altogether. This is, again, what will happen in the peak stages of 2016. You will notice that again there will be many different cartels that will therefore be exposed. And many of these particular forms of exposures will be, of course, up to many of you to decide exactly what you wish to do with the idea of, shall we say, many of these quote-unquote criminal organizations that have now been exposed. And that this could, in that sense, could lead to the idea of, in that sense, multiple arrests upon your planet. Again, this is only a high possibility. It may also, in that sense, leak further into 2017. But around this time also, that there will be, shall we say, certain celestial passings throughout your star system that represent certain types of comets and other particular types of celestial phenomena that will take place around the time of 2016. As we have talked about, that these particular forms of phenomena are, shall we say, in trajectory passes to allow the idea of a purification of energy to take place around your planet. They are basically what you would know as forming magnetic ripples. And through these particular types of magnetic ripples, information is sent. And as information is sent throughout your planetary matrix, codes begin to appear. As these codes begin to appear, you will notice that there will be, in that sense, great changes taking place for you biologically. Again, this is not something too much that you need to divulge much of your attention to, because much of this process relating to the integration of your own personal codexes is something that is being utilized to help you compensate your journey throughout the transit of your own galactic system. Again, allowing more of the octaves of higher dimension to start moving into the degrees of your planet as your planet becomes compensated in that way, relating to, shall we say, energetic disbursement through the idea of, again, cometary passes, and in that sense, other particular forms of celestial phenomena, solar activity as well, and of course moving further into the idea of, shall we say, higher central galactic transit, which again, many of these particular aspects of, shall we say, technology celestially are doing. So much of these cometary passes, and again, other particular celestial phenomena are creating these ripples, these currents that are encoded with specific information that will help in that sense to fuse together in the grids of, shall we say, the alterations of certain timelines. And it's through these alterations of certain timelines that are working more so in the idea of support of unification upon your planet, through the idea of the human race. By, in that sense, shall we say, tweaking the collective thought forms upon your planet to allowing leaders who you never thought would actually stand up and become, in that sense, these profound directors of journeys that you will take together, that work together in service with the unified consciousness. You will discover that this will happen more and more as you move deeper and deeper into 2016. So it is, in that sense, an expansive year when you are moving into 2016. That is not to say that there won't be anything intense. There certainly will be. But the whole idea overall is that, again, many of you are standing up. You are dusting yourselves off. You are now starting to opening yourselves up further, and now being able to shine your light throughout all of these corners of darkness that have been here for a very, very long time, and in that sense exposing what has been hidden in the shadows. Now again, understand that what has been hidden in these shadows are not too pleasant, but you will discover it. And again, this is again why we refer to it as the year of illumination. Your own times of illumination, your own energy to basically go into these corners and light up the corners themselves and discover what has been there needs to take place for you to continue to evolve, to advance your society. And you will all be doing this. It will not just be by the select few. All of you will be shining your lights in your own unique way to light up these corners of darkness so that there can be full illumination. Well, Adronis, what about extraterrestrial disclosure? Is this happening in 2016? There will be certain forms of increments that will take place representing that of disclosure. Again, when we say disclosure, we're not referring to the idea of, shall we say, a global first contact. Again, that is still a ways down the line altogether. However, there will be opportunities, very highly probable, within 2016 that will again help you to understand more about ancient civilizations that have been here on this planet and more evidence of the idea of these ancient civilizations, interplanetary civilizations, extraterrestrial cultures that are further being confirmed more through your grassroots. That there may be, in that sense, more mainstream media representing the idea of life that once existed on Mars. And again, other particular forms of phenomena that exist within your star system that may also get mainstream appeal. However, this may only correlate to the idea of first and second density nature. What we mean by that is that more so in the idea of what you would know as microbial life, or again, particular vegetation, or perhaps in the idea of the understanding of unveiling certain animals that have also existed upon your planets, such as Mars, such as some of the moons of Jupiter or Saturn, etc. But again, the form of civilizations together that have been working together with your planet for thousands of years will still carry themselves on through disclosure within the years ahead. But we do feel that there will be, shall we say, some peak interests relating to the idea of disclosure that is to come. We know many of you are excited and want to say, oh my goodness, come on, just show everybody. Just let this happen. And let the ET civilizations come here and let's get this over with. Well, understand that that would be premature. And the reason why we say that is because your duties right now are to evolve yourselves, are to unify yourselves. Again, as we have stated, it is not for you to be in your current alignment where there still is much turmoil and much conflict upon your planet to all of a sudden become a galactic civilization. That is not how it works. When you are able to fundamentally demonstrate that the idea of racism, of prejudice, of poverty, of war, of starvation, of impoverishment can now reach a state of decline, and you are starting to move yourselves into working alongside your Earth, working alongside each other, getting along with yourselves. This is primarily the type of energy that will become compatible with becoming part of a galactic civilization. You have a long way to go still. You need to clean up your planet. You need to work with yourselves. You need to understand exactly what love truly is by going through these degrees of darkness and then eventually launching yourself into the light. So you have a long way to go still. But you will certainly have the idea that other civilizations exist and that many of you will still have your own individualized as well as group-based connections with many of these particular types of beings. But again, there is still a great deal of work to be done on your planet. Once that time comes where you see that everybody is coming together, that there is a lessening of judgment, of ridicule, of the idea in that sense of feeling that you need to create and thrive upon separation. When all of that has been depleted, and you're noticing that the planet is changing, and then you're noticing that you're all coming together through all cultures together as one unified people, as human beings on planet Earth, not Canadians, not Americans, not Europeans, not Africans, etc., but human beings coming upon planet Earth, working together under a common goal to work in love and responsibility and taking care of your mother world. Then you will have reached the threshold to allow yourselves to reach out to us and say, we are now ready to become a galactic civilization. And we will answer that call. As we have stated before, you will be coming to us. We will not be coming to you. And so it's very, very important to understand that you're getting these hints, you're getting these itty-bitty little tidbits here and there about understanding more about galactic culture, about other civilizations that exist, because you must ask the question, is it true that other civilizations are here and that they have been watching us? And do we feel that we are ready to join them? And what is necessary through us to allow ourselves to join these civilizations as a galactic community? Well, we have just described that. And if you are able to show that and become the example of that energy, then you will become highly compatible to connect as an interstellar civilization, where the galaxy, where the universe will truly be your home. But again, that is in times ahead. So, again, in a nutshell, 2016, the year of illumination, where you all shine your lights, and you all look into the corners of darkness and illuminate them and discover much of the debris that is there, and transitioning that energy, transmuting that energy into full illumination and making that serve as a stepping stone to evolving yourselves further as a precursor to an advanced galactic society. I am Adronis of Sirius. Thank you again for the opportunity of this interaction. We now return to the conduit. We'll speak to you again, as now is forever, and all is one. Goodbye for now.